We did some magic with our book, didn't we?
We sure did. There was a whole lot of magic, and we've got some celebrating to do today.
We do, and it's very exciting to look back. And I'm glad that you are there and you are here today, and you were part of this book. We have a couple others may join us later. Uh, Several people are out, and I am going to share with everyone also some of the stories that I heard from authors. One of them, our dear friend Anne, she wanted to be here so bad, but she is on a 7 week cruise around the world. And she said, my internet is a little spotty, and I can understand that. But she sends her a blessing and everything else. And I will share a little bit later her story and what happened in her life. Because, when we look back, then and sometimes it's important to look back to see, oh, wow, a lot of things has happened and a lot of positive things occurred from something we did in the past. And this book, those stories of 12 other amazing women, including yourself, are just so powerful, and the ripple effect that created. But before we go there, hey, why don't you just tell our audience, whoever is watching now, about Laura? Who is Laura and what do you do?
Well, great. Thank you. Yeah, I have been in the fitness industry for about 30 years and in various capacities. I was a NCAA D1 scholarship gymnast, and then I took my athleticism from gymnastics and competed in the IFBB Fitness Pros for many years all around the world, ranking top 10 internationally. Then I knew there was a point where I was going to have to retire, and what was I going to do after that? I'd already had a personal training business and hosted some retreats, so I knew I was going to continue doing that. And then I added a fitness clothing line that I had for about 10 years, which was amazing, full of bright colors and unique patterns and just fit women the right way. And then after that, it became our journey to get pregnant. And with that were many bumps along the way. And talking about looking back on your journey, well, that was definitely another time that I had to really go back inward and take care of my body so I could help create a new body. And along that journey, I developed an autoimmune disease called Hashimoto's, which I talk more about that in my chapter in our book. And it was quite a struggle to get through that. But I knew in my heart that there were more than the conventional medications that I could use. So I dive deeper into how I got through that. And so now I am a women's retreat host. I'm speaking, working on another book, and really helping women you maximize the quality of their life, whether it's through exercise or at the cellular level internally. And it really brings just so much joy to see others really catapult on their journey in health and how that carries over into life. Because we really, when we have our health, we can think of 1,000 different things. And when we don't have our health, we think about one thing.
Our
So
health.
it is my joy to be able to help people move forward on their fitness journey, their wellness journey, and really so they can enjoy their life to the fullest.
And I see what you do with your clients, and it's amazing. So, anyone who wants to learn more, of course, they can follow you. And we're going to put all our information in the show notes afterwards for sure. But I want to compliment you on the butterfly. It's just so pretty.
Thank you.
That's right. That's right. And yeah, so I wanted to show everybody this is our book. As you can see, lots and lots of butterflies because it's yeah,
Yes, right
yeah,
on theme.
right. It's all about transformation.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know really how a butterfly or a caterpillar transforms to a butterfly. I did not know that. I just
Mhm.
thought that the caterpillar stays there and then grows some wings or something, right? But actually, the caterpillar has to
Mhm.
totally dissolve to grow into something new, which then becomes the beautiful butterfly. And how often is this happening in our lives? I don't believe it's just one time that we totally have to let go of everything that we knew before. Several times when we go through a transition, and in many cases, we have to leave things behind that we know. And one thing comes to mind when I had to make a decision with where do I start the next leg of my life? And I had to leave behind my whole entire family in Germany. I had to leave behind my career of what I was known for as the actress. And my career in Germany just started to take off. I played beautiful roles, and one of my favorite, all-time favorite, was Madame Thénardier in Les Miserables, but many others that I truly enjoyed playing. And I just got that momentum going. But, when love meets you, then you sometimes have to make decisions. But interestingly enough, it was even more than that because my love, my now husband, he moved to Germany and stayed with me and everything else. But there was a very sad moment in my life where something was gone all of a sudden. And that was my mother's death. And being a young adult, I was devastated. And my husband and I, we both talked about starting a business together, a school, a performing arts school, where we can pass on our passion and love for the performing arts to a new generation. Interestingly enough, we talked about it, and I was like really hesitant. I said, I don't know if I want to leave my homeland and my family behind. But when my mom was gone, I had to make a decision and I wanted to leave. I kind of felt I had to leave. And sometimes it takes hard situations or challenges or pain, in my case, to do that. And I'm sharing the story because I wanted to go back to that butterfly. Sometimes we have to dissolve everything, leave everything behind that we knew, that we know that we were, that we identified with a career. And that's oftentimes you
Mhm.
identify with a career and then you leave that behind and you have to start new. And all of a sudden, where are you? But during that cocoon time, so to speak, I kind of rearranged everything in my life. And eventually it became the beautiful life that I have now, literally growing new wings to lift up into the skies. And in that process was able to help so many people, which perhaps this wouldn't have been the case if I would have stayed an actress. I mean, I still would have made an impact, but this is where the journey led me. And I know it was with you and with so many other women who shared their story
Mhm.
in this book. And I just wanted to put up that picture one more time where all the women that contributed to that book shared their story. And of course, you are there as well. So I just want to say one other thing. Um, Isn't it interesting? I was texting one of my authors. "Yeah, I can go on here, the link," and I forgot to stop. Now my whole entire speech is on her. Oh
Well,
my
isn't that neat?
God! So I'm going to shut up now, and I wanted to
Mhm.
ask you. Maybe you can share with our listeners now what happened in your life, and maybe read part of the story from the book, if you don't mind.
Sure. I think what I'd like to do is read the concluding paragraphs is because it just leaves you with this sense of inspiration and hope. And so I'll go ahead and begin here.
Yes,
It was a
please.
graceful dance, an attunement to my body's whispers, a tribute to its needs, and a celebration of its progress. I didn't combat my health issues, but embrace them with love, understanding, and a touch of playful curiosity. This journey stands as a testament to the power of exploring unconventional plans, becoming advocates for our well being, and embracing diverse approaches to healing. It has been a remarkable odyssey painted with the hues of pain, love, hope, and even the sweet victory of self discovery. This narrative aims to reach the hearts of those navigating similar challenges, offering a beacon of hope and resilient melody that resonates through the darkest moments, urging the spirit to keep dancing to life's rhythms.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's just so beautiful. And it is so true. We have to dance to life's rhythm. Everything is energy. Everything is a powerful way for us to navigate through life. And you surely did that. You had several things that, and of course, you share in your story that feeling when you lose,
Mhm.
a child, something that started growing within you, and how painful it is. And we all have those painful times, and it's I can only urge everybody, it's a very powerful story, and that's not the only one. We have so many others. And one of the authors, I was just on the phone with her. She is trying to get on here as well. She also has a very powerful story. Uh, Before we go there and have someone else on the line here, I am just wondering how being part of a book, because for you that was the first time, what different did it make on your journey also as a professional, um, to let you to other things? So maybe if you can share some of your experiences after the book was published.
Absolutely. Yeah, after getting our book printed and published, it was definitely a tool that I was able to use almost like my printed version of a business card, and it did open doors for more speaking engagements and being able to share my story and feel authentic with it, allow it to help in healing process for me and allowing others to have that healing process. But going back to my business, it's been great to be able to share this story on so many different platforms, whether it's a virtual speaking platform, whether it's on a big stage, whether it's in front of a women's conference, being able to share this and be able to inspire others and make these connections and new plans of things that may not have happened without this book. And so it's been really opening doors that I may not have been able to open up otherwise, and really has been supporting my message that I'm getting out there of there is hope and there is healing and there's ways that we can do that.
Yes, yes, yes. And it's very interesting that you said that, because when we have that hope and can give that hope to others, we
Mhm.
can make a great, great impact, and great for you. And oh, I see another author is hopping on the line right now. Victoria Ochoa. How are you, Victoria?
How are you?
You are not, I cannot hear you. Can you hear her?
I
I can
can.
hear
Okay.
you.
I sorry about that. I have, for some reason, my sound is off. Hold on just a second while I figure it out. Please, Victoria, introduce yourself and tell us what you do right now.
Okay, so my name is Victoria Ochoa. I am a marketing consultant. I am focused in health and well being. That's my passion. I was in corporate many years, and now I'm dedicated to that.
Okay, I think we have
A little
a
glitch.
pause here. Here we go. So
Should I
can
say?
can you hear each other?
Yeah. I don't know if I can hear Laura. Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, it's so great to be here and celebrate our 1 year anniversary of our book, Become Empowered.
Yeah, it was amazing. So, I can hear Laura, definitely.
Can you hear me now? Okay.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. I can hear you now too. Anyways, that's when you're live, right? Some things can happen. So, I am so empowered also by you sharing your story. And I am wondering if you can just tell our listeners a part of your story that you share in the book, what it's about, and how it helped you sharing the story and telling the story to process it. Was it hard to process the story or not?
It did take a lot of vulnerability and being very honest with myself. Uh, but I think that this story was so worth sharing because divorce is a very harsh thing for anybody who has been raised in a traditional family and has, different types of aspirations when it comes to, happily ever after and being married forever, which is what I thought. So yeah, it was very, very tough to just dig in and expose, my experience. But I was thinking about it today, actually, thinking about the anniversary. And what touched me the most was realizing two things. Well, three things, but the one that came up first was my education. And knowing that when you have some type of important training, education, you have experience. I see so many women that are walking into relationships without tools to be independent. And that's okay if you want to give yourself into a relationship and you want to raise children, but you can't forget about yourself. So I think the education that I got, and it was not easy because I shared in my book, I had to make sacrifices. I mean, to have anything that you want, to learn anything, you have to sacrifice. And that was okay. But it was so worth it because the moment that I needed to pivot, I had the tools, I had the knowledge, and I had the courage because I had had experience to do it. So that was my big invitation to any woman that wants to have a quality life, regardless of having a partner or not having a partner. And it serves me over and over. So I just defend that to, like education and experience, do something for yourself. And the second one was definitely, as you know, Sabine, because you are one of them, make sure that you have sisters, make sure that you reach out and you don't have to be the most social person in the world, but make sure that you have sisters, that you are there for them when they need you, and that you know that you can count on them. I really didn't know that I can count on them. To be sincere, I was there when they needed me. And what do you know? When I needed them, they extended their hand and they continue to. So that is such a blessing. And then the other part was really knowing that my children, the hardest part for me, and it always is, and it still is, and I think I have to do therapy for it, is the guilt that I still feel for my children. And I still have to work through that. Maybe I'll write a book, or I'll be part of a book when I understand how that gets done, because I think for a mom that is a very tough experience to have to go through that roller coaster, which is not a pleasant one, and then you know that your kids are coming with you and you can't do anything about it except just show up and be the best. So yeah, so those were, let's say, my three biggest memories of the book and my three biggest takeaways when I wrote the book.
And one of the things that you said, the last one, I want to go there first. That was, yeah, knowing that the children go through that as well. But here's the thing. I always see that everything that happened for a reason. There's always a silver lining. And maybe that can be part of that healing that you may still want to experience. The children, that who they are now, who they became because of that. And I can say I know both of your children. They are amazing human beings. And who knows if you would have stayed together in that relationship, what other things had aspired. So it is not good, it is not bad, it is,
Don't know.
right?
Who knows? Yeah, it's a journey. I mean, everybody has their own journey, and I think we've all been through challenges, with families that are functional or dysfunctional, with experience we've had in our lives. So we can't shield our kids from it. But when you have that conception in your mind of a happily ever after, and the way that I was brought up, and the way I conceived, like I'm getting married because I want to form a family and I want this for the rest of my life. Um, it's not easy. And then the other is, and I don't know who is listening that may have gone or is going through the same thing. The other is, it's a very hard balance when you're raising your kids on your own. Um, and actually, I heard this really cool term, which is, it's not a single mom. You're not a you're not a single mom raising your kids. You're a mom raising your kids with an absentee dad, which is different. So because you can be a single mom by choice, right? But I wasn't. And so raising children when the other parent is not there, it takes a lot from you. And then it also, you're like, okay, I was almost ready to be a little selfish and focus on myself now that my kids were getting bigger, but now I have to go back to not only being a mom but also being a dad. And there are a lot of gaps that I wish wouldn't have happened. And, I've been able to talk to my children about it and clear a lot of things. And they're so graceful. And thank you, Sabine, for saying that, because they are incredible human beings. And we've shared a lot of things that we went through because of the divorce, and we're still healing. And I think it's a constant. I think we're still healing, and that's okay. It's part of our
Yeah,
journey.
isn't that so true? Is that so true, Laura? That there's a healing process going on, and we all have our own healing process to go through, right? I still do. I still do. I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, I'm still in the thick of it. My kids are young, and it's a day-to-day thing. So it's trying to make the best decisions that you can for the kiddos, and allowing your body to heal and move forward on the journey, and be a good role model as best as we can with what we have in front of us at that moment, being present in the moment and being
Yeah.
able to guide forward in the right way.
And then the other thing you mentioned is sisterhood. And I wanted to bring that up because here are two sisters right there in front of me. And the depth of friendship that we experienced in different ways actually came from a book and came from personal growth, right? So I I know, Laura, we shared our story before, and Victoria, I also would like for you to share the story. But let's go back to Laura for a second. Um, Laura, I'm gonna give the microphone to you to share about sisterhood and share about friendships that can happen in various different ways.
Absolutely. You just never know when it's going to happen. But I think being able to be open to allowing it to happen, and it does take some effort too. So it doesn't, you have to cultivate it and keep it growing. Like, we were in a large mastermind group with some high achieving women and men, and then you suggested, let's do a breakout group, and we started and that's when I started to get to know you on a more personal level, and finding that we had a lot of similar things, and that it was going to be a friendship and not just a business and accountability and helping one another. And that way it was going to go deeper. And as that had developed, then we ended up meeting in person because you live in Florida, I live in Seattle, the opposite sides of the country. We weren't going to cross paths randomly at the grocery store. So coming down and meeting you in person the first time was just like, oh yeah, this is amazing. She is going to be a lifetime girlfriend because you'd learn a lot about a person when you travel with them, and especially if you share a room with somebody.
I remember that, Laura. I invited you to Podfest. I said, "Oh, I think it would be so great for you." And well, let's share a room, right? And that for me was too. It's like, okay, when you share a room, let's see how it happened. But you know what happened? We met, we got into the room, and we started laughing.
I mean, like we've known each other for like 20 or 30 years. It was amazing. Those friendships, those you have to cultivate. And then there's some that just happen like that. And you and I were one that just happened. It just made sense. And it was just a ball.
It sure was. And sometimes I wonder, maybe we all met before in a different life and we just were destined to see each other again, right? So, Victoria, share our story.
Oh, we met. So I
Yes, yes.
uh, so I was at a spa on Siesta Key, and I was actually talking to the owner of the spa because of my, health and well-being marketing. And I saw Sabine's book. I don't remember the title of the book, but it had to do with achieving
Unlock your full potential. That was the book.
potential. And I
Yes.
was talking to her, to the owner of the spa, and she told me, yeah, the lady that wrote that book just was here. She was really interesting. I think you should meet her. And I said, "Oh my gosh, is she here?" And she said, "Well, I think she's going to come here tomorrow, or I'll just, connect you." And of course, I really wanted to meet Sabine. And of course, we talked, and it was also an instant click. We had so many things in common. Um, I could see that Sabine has that fire in her, and I feel the same way, that there's something more that you want to accomplish, that you're just not here grazing and and enjoying life, which is great too. But there's something in you that you want to share, and Sabine definitely was that type of person that I just loved. And the more we talked, the more interesting we got to each other, and I just she became my sister for sure. And that was, I don't know, 7 years ago, I think, 7 or 8 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
wow. And yeah, we're like sisters.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. And it's so interesting that there is no doubt in my mind that, of course, your stories, and I know both of your stories, they had to be part of the book, Become Empowered. Not only because the story in and of itself are empowering, but also the energy that comes from the authors, you in and of itself are such empowering personalities. So when you work, and I saw both of you working with your clients, you have that serving heart that is so important to connect with other human beings and make sure that you can serve them to the best ability and make a difference in their lives. And both of you have that. So I'm super happy that you are part of the book, and I can only encourage everybody to pick up that book. And because we have our 1 year anniversary, um, we have a special on Amazon. So if you get the Kindle version, it's free until Sunday. So I just invite you to pick up, download the Kindle version. You don't need to have a Kindle to download it. So you can read it on all kind of devices and read it, and then just give us a short review. That will be so empowering, because when Amazon sees more reviews on the book, they bring that book up in front of more people. And people need to read those stories. And to tell you one important message that I received from one of the authors in the book, who also shared her heartwarming and very um, disturbing, but at the same time with a happy ending message. So her story was really about broken relationships, and it was not only a healing process for her to write the story, but what happened after the book was released was even more remarkable. And that also shows us what difference we can make by sharing our stories. A long lost distant relative read the story and came back to the author and said, "Oh my God, I had no idea. I am so sorry." And that moment was the moment where they made up the differences and started speaking again, and started having that relationship again. Can you imagine what that can uh, do to somebody's lives? Just reading a story, maybe being on the verge of doing something silly. I've heard that too, right? But they listened to a podcast, they read a story in the book, or a version or a chapter of a book, and that in and of itself flipped things around for them, not to do something stupid, even as bad as maybe taking their own life. I heard so many different stories. So that is the power of stories. And so I urge everybody, pick up the book. It's free, right? And give us some love when you leave a comment. And I will put the link, of course, in the show notes here, but you can go to Amazon.com and put in "Become Empowered, Echoes of Grace and Strength," and you will find it. You can always join our community as well, the Become Empowered, the journey, which is free to join. And you will see us there, and you will get part of the journey, which is what I would like to announce here. And that is the next book that I am writing. So this is my solo book, in which I share, uh, of course, my experiences, but a lot of stories, a lot of powerful stories. And there are a lot of great golden nuggets that you can take away from, that will help you on your journey in life. Because I know it is, sometimes it can be hard for someone to, when they're in the midst of things, to make the right decisions. And sometimes great advice from someone who has been there. And I've been on this planet for some time now. So I've seen a lot. So I can only describe this book, a combination of The Secret, Think and Grow Rich, and Chicken Noodle Soup for the Soul. So that's all I can say at this very moment, because we are still, it's still in the writing process, and I'm working with an editor, and she is definitely helping me making it to the best it can be. So yeah, I wanted to also make sure that that I don't jump the gun. But if you are in the community, Become Empowered, the journey, you will be the first one to know what's going on. You will know the struggles that I go through, because I go in there and I'm very honest to the to the journey, and also what I experience. And then hopefully you will also see how you can overcome the hurdles that are being in front of you. We always have hurdles that we have to jump over, or maybe crawl through. Who knows, right? It's many different ways. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And I'll have my link there as well, sabinequenberg.com/resources. And you find a lot of free resources. And of course, you can always get in touch with me by just book a time on my calendar. Okay, wow. I can't believe that this time is already flying by. Um, Anybody want to say something maybe I missed in our conversation, or something that popped up in your mind the last minute that you want to share? And if not,
It
I
has been
think
a great experience working on our book and being able to use that as another tool to share and inspire women to, whether it's on their well-being journey, on their health journey, and just on their transformation journey as they let go and shed one set of skin to open up and really spread their wings into the next chapter of their life. So it's been an honor. Thank you, Sabina.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Victoria, for being here, being contributing authors, but also being good friends. And that is the power of sisterhood. All right, everybody, until the next time, always remember, serve from the heart, follow your passion, and live the life you imagine. And before you go, make sure you give us a thumbs up and leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you don't miss another episode. Bye bye now.